weren't.
All right, it is Wednesday, June 3rd. This Fans View Wednesday edition, and we have Carl, John, Lauren, Anthony, and myself, and I think Lou is probably still without power, so he will not be joining us tonight. John, what do you got?
Well, we are here doing our Who Wore It Best contest again. Recapping number 14.
That was really close, wasn't it?
It was close.
It was a nail biter. It was a nail biter. Pete Rose, won that one by a nail bite, and had 252 to 38 over Sean Couturier. Jim Bunnan and Del Ennis had a bunch of write-in votes, and Dougie P came in third with the four that we had, and Henry Bibby had one.
Did you see that somebody wrote in Eric Lindros?
I did. I did.
Yeah. What was that all about? Well, I guess
they thought
smartass. I guess I don't know.
1488. It's close.
Right.
Maybe they didn't realize they didn't see the 14 up there on top. They just threw Lindros.
So what? He was like the best player to wear it overall ever. Like,
I guess that's what they were
history
saying.
of anything. I don't even like. Whatever. Thank you for deleting it, though.
Maybe he wore 14 as a peewee.
Maybe. Maybe Lincoln Juniors.
Yeah, John. People want to know about Lappy. How did Lappy do?
Well, I see Lappy had 3 votes, and somebody had changed their vote. I see.
Also, stop calling me out. Nobody likes that.
Oh, we all like it. It's all good. It's all fun.
Nobody likes that.
So can I get everybody's attention for like a minute?
Absolutely.
So we were supposed to have Mr. Lou Nolan as our guest this evening, and a pretty nasty storm flipped through the area, and talked to Lou a little bit ago, and he still hadn't got his electric back. So what our plans are is to have him next week. So we will get him lined up for next week. But this is the book. If these walls could talk, it's a great book. Lou will sign it for you. They're available here at the store, Carl's Cards, for people that don't know. It's also available through Lou on his Facebook page. So I just wanted to let everybody know, we're still giving away a copy of the book tonight. So everybody that engages and gives us good feedback, conversation, questions, comments, all that good stuff, we'll pick a winner tomorrow, and we'll get a copy of this book in your hands. But it's a great book. There's a lot of good read in here. Lou's been with them. What was it? The 72-73 season was his first year.
Right.
So he's seen a lot of the good times and the bad times. So, but anybody that knows anything about Lou Nolan, what a gentleman. He's an awesome
Great
individual. He was our very first live guest at PJ Willahan's. He's a friend of ours. He's just a great individual. So kind of bummed that he's not here with us. I know Jack brought it up this morning, and I see Joe's already talking about it. Why is he not in the Flyers Hall of Fame?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what we need to do as a group, we need to campaign to get Lou into the Flyers Hall of Fame.
I say we get a petition together.
We get a petition. We'll get Mr. Lou Nolan in the Flyers Hall of Fame.
Okay. You want me to write that up? I can write it up. I'll do it.
What do you think the reasons are for why he isn't?
I don't know. Is Jack's on board? Jack, let me hear your thoughts. I don't know.
I mean, that seems like an easy candidate.
You would think.
You would think.
You would think.
PA announcer since 72.
So what is that? 40? What is that? 46?
48 years old.
48 years.
Is there
John with the quick math.
Watch
Is there-
how old I am.
Is there a big event that they'd be waiting to do it for? Because it's seems like it would be an easy pick. So maybe
50 years, maybe.
but they just have that a couple years ago.
Their 50th season,
Oh,
but he hasn't been there the whole time.
his 50th year.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Because what did
Well,
John
Jack-
say? 48.
All right. Well,
48.
so Jack's saying he's still active. So I guess what you have to retire. Is that the
I guess.
is that the deal?
Yeah,
They
he said
only
they've
had one.
Yeah, and it
Oh.
was Ed Snyder. All right, so
Okay.
Lou has to retire.
So
Nah, not yet.
okay, they've only had one person put in who was still active, and that was Ed Snyder.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we might have
So-
to nix the petition.
Well, maybe we can campaign it anyway, even while he's still active.
Worth a
All right.
shot.
We can always get Pico to sponsor it, right?
Tony, will you sign it?
Sure.
All right, Tony said he'll sign it.
Why
All
not?
right, there you go. There's one. I think right here there should be at least 5.
You would
And the
think.
way- And the way you guys like to rig things, you know, you probably-
I don't rig anything.
Yeah, we
I
got
vote.
there's a lot of conspiracy theory going around. So
You got at least 500 votes here.
Clearly.
Lauren, Anthony, Lauren, Tony, there's probably different names that are going.
so anyway, if these walls could talk, right here, Lou Nolan. God willing, he'll be with us next Wednesday night. So sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
But when Mother Nature comes calling, there's not a whole lot you can do.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
So,
Very true.
but where are we at? Who wore it best?
Yeah. No, so now we're on the 15 tonight. Number 15. This one's going to be a very interesting one. For especially for all the old heads in the in the group.
Who are you calling old?
Well, I'm one of them. It's all the older folks.
Come on, Tony, raise your hand.
And just so we know, it's not an owl going on when I announce some of the names.
It's not what?
It's not an owl when Lauren says who.
Oh,
No, I know all these guys. I won't
There
say
you
it. I know them all.
So we got for the Phillies, we have Dick Allen, Rookie of the Year, Phillies Wall of Famer.
Dick, don't call me Richie.
Yep, he's going to be hopefully eligible next year. It's going to be his year for the Hall of Fame, the Major League Hall of Fame. So that'll be interesting. We got for the Eagles, we have Steve Van Buren, two-time NFL champion with the Eagles before the Super Bowls were around, but we were the champions. His number was retired with the Eagles. Four-time rushing leader in the league, four-time touchdown leader, the 75th and 100th anniversary team. So another quality candidate there. For the Flyers, we have Terry Crisp, a two-time Stanley Cup champion, coach who won a Stanley Cup champion as well. Unfortunately, not with the Flyers. And then we got another retired number for the Sixers, Hal Greer, NBA champion, 67, 10-time All-Star. His number's retired as well. So should be a fun, interesting conversation tonight with players we have.
1-5.
Yep. Everybody was jumping right to number 20, but we skipped it. There's a couple before 20 that are going to be some interesting conversations. So Mario, who do you have?
I'm torn between Dick Allen and Van Buren, so I think I'm going to go baseball. So I got
All
Dick Allen going.
Sounds good. Anthony, who do you have?
I feel like this is the toughest one of all of them so far. I feel like all the other I feel like all the other ones there was in my mind there was at least like some person that was easiest to pick with. I imagine I would go with Dick Allen out of those names, but I wouldn't complain that any of those guys win because they're all good. I mean, all those names.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Lauren?
Dad, can you remind us when he was in the store?
It's gone back. It's gone back quite a few years.
I don't remember if he was friendly or not, and that's really what I based my decision on.
Very old, and
I mean, he's pretty annoyed that he's not in the Hall of Fame, right? Like he's pretty outwardly spoken about that.
That who is not?
Dick
Richie.
Allen.
Oh, Dick. Yeah. Oh, well, you know what? I'm sorry. I got off course there. I thought you were talking about Steve Van Buren.
No, I remember him. He was very old. Yeah. Very old.
Richie
Nice.
was always grumpy. His wife's even grumpier.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't have a real pleasant. He took too many smoke breaks. You know, he wasn't for the amount of money that I pulled out of my pocket. I wasn't too excited about one Dick Allen. Great autograph, you know. A lot of people would love to, you know, and I've tried. I almost pulled the trigger again, but his health is really, really bad. And if anybody remembers this past year, he needed two guys to help him up onto the stage for Alumni Weekend. Exactly. Thank you, Johnny. So yeah, I mean, you know, Dick, don't call me Richie. He's had his issues with the press. He's had his issues with the police. He's had a lot of issues, and I think that's part of the problem. That the main reason he hasn't gotten into the Hall of Fame. His numbers are overwhelming.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing about those numbers. Those numbers are staggering. You know, but yeah, it's interesting. I think, John, correct me if I'm wrong. There's one more year of eligibility next year.
This year coming up is
it, right?
Well, do you remember, John, like the percentage that he got? Was he anywhere close? Because usually it trends towards that. If it's not towards that, he's probably not gonna.
His last year, he missed by one vote.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Carl, did you see Sue's question?
Which kind of makes him more
Right.
more bitter because of that. In
Right.
his final year, he missing out by the one vote. So, yeah, that's tough.
All right. So after that, not so great assessment, Steve Van Buren is my vote.
Well, I would have thought that would have been your guy anyway, going back all those years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, it was. But I mean, you know, Dick Allen is a good name. It's a big name, and you know, he deserves recognition. 7-time All-Star. So you know, I don't want to not give him his mention, but I'm going to go Steve Van Buren.
Yeah, he definitely deserves his props. Sue brings up a good point. That's Sue Henderson from Glen Mills, Pennsylvania. She's stepping in, and you know, he hands out business cards when you ask him for an autograph, especially down in Clearwater. He'll hand, or his son. He has
What's on the business card?
that you need to call his office and you can buy the autograph through his office. So yeah, he's not the very sociable Richie Allen.
Vote twice. All right. Yep.
But,
Steve Van Buren.
Steve Harris, the much aligned Steve Harris, he's pissed off because he wouldn't sign Richie on the baseball.
Well, Jim Bunning wouldn't put Senator Jim Bunning either.
Steve Harris has some serious issues, folks.
So is it the player or is it that Steve's sitting there?
Yeah, it seems like Steve's just a pain in the ass.
This is Steve Harris from Broomall,
That's not
Pennsylvania.
going to sit well. Just wait for the comment.
Oh, God.
That just got again.
He's not even here to defend himself.
He's SH Cards on eBay, so I have to authenticate all of his shit because people think he sells fake stuff. They don't realize that he sits with the goddamn players. Oh man, where the hell did this show go?
You gotta go one week without ripping them. We wouldn't be right without ripping you.
I don't think he could ever be on the show again. We can't have this much fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
right, Dad.
God.
Everyone needs to know. Who's your vote?
I'm going Steve Van Buren.
There
He
you go.
was,
And you didn't vote for Terry Crisp.
no. And I got a great Terry Crisp story to share with you guys, if we got any extra time, because this'll make you pee your pants, because this is funny.
I think we got 45 minutes.
We got nothing but time.
You want the story now?
Sure.
Yeah.
So has anybody been watching the Flyers alumni with their podcasts? They've done 2 so far. And the last one was 2 weeks ago, and they had a star-studded cast on. It was Clarkey, Perrant, Joe Watson, and Terry Crisp was another one of the players, Bill Barber, and it was hosted by Bill Clement, who was a teammate. So Crispy's very talkative. He loves to talk. So they were going at it and ripping each other, much like we do with Steve Harris. So Crispy wanted to know, because they kept showing the track of all the people that would come on the ice when they won the Stanley Cup. Like, how the hell did all these people get on the ice? And there was this young kid who came up to him, shook his hand, and Terry, like, is that a relative? Is he somebody from the family? Is he from the team? He had no idea who he was. Well, they're having another show tomorrow night, another podcast. It's through YouTube, I believe, and they're having the kid on. He's not a kid anymore, right? So Terry gets to talk with the kid, and they can reenact that whole thing.
And actually find out what.
I don't know. You gotta
Well,
find.
I
You gotta
saw
tune in.
I saw on Facebook a couple days ago, one of the reporters said, if anyone knows this kid, please let us
Yep.
know. So they must
Yep.
have found him.
They found them
That's
exactly.
pretty funny.
It's very funny.
Brian
What's-
Brown said the handshake kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You ever see
Hey,
the picture?
I used to
No.
like you, Lauren Henderson. It's not too late. There's Steve Harris. He's always starting trouble.
Yeah, that's true, Steve. I hear you.
Yeah, Mike Taylor. Chris has the puck from the last second of the Stanley Cup. He had it in his underwear drawer. It was hilarious. It's hilarious. He's a character. We had him in the store, and there's pictures of him and Mom hugging and kissing. He loved her. He fell in love with her. I'm like, here, take her back to Nashville weekend. Here you go. Here you go.
Mm-mm-mm.
Gotta love them hockey guys.
Oh yeah.
They're the best. They're the best. But sorry, Crispy, I couldn't vote for you. I had to. Steve Van Buren's a good guy.
Another Hall of Famer though too.
I enjoyed him over the years. He was one of them guys that never. He wasn't Richie Allen. Steve would sign anything and everything. Probably why his autograph's only worth $20 today.
Well,
John?
Dick Allen's got a little bit of a hand issue too, though.
John, who's your vote for?
He's been using that excuse for a lot of years, though.
Well, arthritis gets in there and it's tough. My vote is for Dick Allen. To stick with my Phillies theme here for a little bit. Unfortunately, I think the role for the Phillies is going to end real quick here after 15. We're might lose out a little bit on 16. Might be going back hockey as somebody's getting the number prepared. But he has a chance. He has a chance to win that one.
All right.
I think a little bit better chance than Pete Rose did.
So we got what, three for Allen and 2 for Van Buren.
Yep.
Here. All right.
Very good.
So apparently the players did not approve the offer.
The owners.
The owners did not approve the offer. No, the players didn't approve the offer, and now the owners are not going to submit anything else.
The owner said 40 games.
Right.
The players said 100, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah.
The owners said today that they're not compromising on that, and that's sort of the end of the discussions on that. So
and they're not submitting another offer.
Yeah, they said they're not submitting another proposal. So
do the players have a chance to reconsider and accept, or is it done?
Well, I'm sure I'm sure at some point they could, or at any point they can negotiate, but it seems
it's not a good sign.
It seems like it's very, very, far away, and for it seemed like no one's really making much of a concession on either way.
Right.
Obviously we don't know what's going on, but when you have a portion of the owners that can't even agree that they want to play in the first place, it doesn't seem very helpful. When you're trying to negotiate, that they can't even be on the same page themselves. So,
right.
Like I always say, I hate to be negative, but the entire time I didn't think it was going to happen. Just with the.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So is this what's going to happen next year when when they were trying to put something together? So are we going to use this COVID-19 as the excuse, for not getting a new deal done, because we would have fast forward and we would have the same problem next year?
Well, it definitely doesn't help, because you would think that, if they could have good conversations going into it and you get some type of a deal, at least sets you up for the bigger round going forward. I mean, when you see it's beautiful outside, and I'm sure we'll get to the other sports and basketball progressing heavily over the last couple of days, it just looks really, really bad. The world lately has not seemed great, and then you kind of see things getting a little bit better over the last day or two with some of the other sports, especially basketball, and it just doesn't look good for your sport in general. And like I said, not to say one side's right or one side's wrong, because they obviously have their own opinions, but for the owners not to say, hey, let's talk a little bit more, that seems a little, stubborn on your part. It seems
it seems a little childish.
It seems like you don't want to play in the first place. You don't want to lose any. Right. We're not going to lose any money, and you're not getting any money. That's what it seems like. Someone throwing a tantrum, a little bit, and they're
not going to lose any money, but they're also not going to make anything either.
Well, they won't make.
So it's just a stalemate.
They won't make the playoff money. You're also going to have players that are furious at you, and then you, as Carl was saying, going forward, you think the players are going to be in a good mood if you can't come to some type of realization for this year. So, yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it could get much worse than it was 2 days ago, but it seems much worse than it was 2 days ago.
Yeah. I mean, I hear people say, oh, this is negotiations. This is what goes on. You gotta drag them all down, to this point before you can get an agreement. I don't necessarily agree with that. This is 2020. I would think, with the amount of money that these owners are making, and you would think there would be a resolution. You wouldn't think virus, no virus.
Right.
I just don't agree with it, and everyone's going to come away with a really bad taste.
The problem with baseball, like it always has been. Sorry to cut you off, Mario, but it's like it's very. How do you say it? It's very bureaucratic. It's like the government. It's very hard to get things through or fixed or anything. And basketball is more like sometimes, working with a minor league team or working with your friend, where you could send a couple texts, figure things out, get things going. Baseball can't get out of its own way, and
it's very by the book.
Very by the books, and God forbid you change anything at all. And that is not good for the long-term feasibility of the sport, and I don't think they get that.
So my question would be, if they decide that this year's over, they're not going to play at all, does that give them more time to talk about next year, or are they just going to say, screw it, we're done until?
Well, theoretically, it would give you more time, but they're going to definitely be ticked off. So I don't see them, it's a catch-22. Both sides need each other. So owners can get as mad as they want, but they can't do anything without players. And the players have to get paid. So unless they want the sport to die in general, which would be horrendous, they better figure it out.
I honestly don't think that's out of the question. The way things are going, attendance was down. It was on a decline for a little bit. I don't want to see baseball go away, so I'm hoping they work things out. But it's not really looking good.
It's just, I mean, baseball's so big compared to these other sports too. You know, I'm not talking about TV rating. I'm talking about, like, in the United States of America, there are baseball teams throughout the entire country in small markets and big markets, and you're hurting sports in general throughout the entire country, and the economics in all those markets and the jobs in all those markets. We're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of people just because, two sides can't figure it out. I mean, they have to understand it's not just about them. It's sort of about the country, and I don't think they understand that.
I look at basketball in the international market. I think, there's big revenue, draw from there. Same thing with hockey, with Canada and overseas. There's, baseball's missing that attraction. It just, they may think they've done a good job marketing their product, but I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm not an expert on marketing for, what goes on internationally. But I think baseball's really somebody's not doing their job.
No, and I mean, and I don't know if that's baseball's fault or some of the players' fault. It's probably a combination of both, obviously. But, hockey plays all over the place. I mean, basketball has done a fantastic job by getting players from all over the world and playing in different spots, and how it's been growing in the Asian markets like China. It's blowing up there. When Jeremy Lin got big, all that stuff they're doing right. I don't know if it's because a person, and you can't put it all on him, but I don't know if it's because a Mike Trout type person doesn't want to be the face of the league, or the league itself is just so bureaucratic that they don't think outside the box. But yeah, right now, everything theoretically, they might have the highest revenues they've ever had, and it might be growing. But a lot of things theoretically that have failed over the years have been on an upswing, sort of like that, and then it starts to eventually go down. So I hope that's not where we are. They just kind of got to get out of their own way somehow. And they've done a horrible job growing it.
Terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
And I mean, they really could essentially use the minor league teams as a way to really grow it. But I feel like they see them as like baggage instead of opportunity.
I agree with that.
And I don't know why. I don't know why they don't, because there is no other sport that has that minor league system the way baseball does. So they could attract so many people to the sport, and minor league teams do it so well. And I mean, obviously I have a front row seat to how it's done. And obviously the Fightins are sort of top notch in how they do it compared to other teams, but they have such an opportunity to get themselves in front of kids at such a young age at minor league stadiums. And now it's seen as, well, let's get rid of them because they don't make us enough money, or because they're just dragging us down, and we need to get rid of all this extra baggage.
It's sort of like if you've ever seen like a restaurant or a business or whatever it is, and they say, I don't want to spend any money on advertising this, that, I don't want to spend any money. And, a lot of those times those places fail. You can never grow unless you're willing to take risks, do things outside the box, grow yourself. If not, you're going to stay stagnant forever. I mean, baseball has, one of the oldest sort of fan base. What are you doing to get the young kids involved? We talked about it before, but their social media is not that great. I mean, it's just tough coming from a minor league level where it's so creative a lot of the times, that the major leagues just can't figure that out and see it as an asset.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get it, because you even see like these major league stadiums where if you're not going to play baseball this year, adapt your facility to something else then. And that's not even happening. You have a giant, basically TV screen in center field. Adapt it to something. Figure out how you can make money. Bring those concessions people back who you've now just basically screwed because you said, well, we're not going to play this whole year, so sorry. Bring those people back. Have some type of social distance type of event at these stadiums. Play a movie on that big screen and figure out how to space everybody out. Open up the field so people can sit on the actual field. You're not using it for a year anyway. Who gives a shit what happens to it? But instead, they'll just lock down these stadiums and just wait for all of us to come back in 2021.
Hopefully everyone does. Hopefully.
Well, that's what they're expecting.
Right.
They're not even saying, like, we know we're not doing right by you. They're almost just expecting us to walk down the red carpet when they roll it out for next year.
It's a very arrogant attitude on their part to think that people are just going to say, okay, well, you're open up again. We're going to come back.
Well, and they, you know, I'm not defending anyone. They can kind of do that because they know they have a huge fan base and they know they're the oldest sport. And, you know, they're sort of, to an extent, taking advantage of that because if you are basketball, one of those sports that aren't as popular, let's say, even though they are growing and all that, you know, those sports can't afford to do that. So baseball really shouldn't either. And, you know, not saying they're getting cocky, but it's not, you know, after the strike in 1994, you know, markets like New York or whatever might have done okay eventually. But, you know, the Montreal Expos were gone and they were never the same much long after that. So I hope that's not the case with the sport in general because we just had one of these strikes not too long ago.
Well, I think there's going to come a time where baseball can't do that anymore. And people are just going to say, you know, we're not coming back.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's possible. I mean, the one thing going for them is they have so many games on TV compared to all the other sports. So,
and they're the only game in town in the summer.
It just feels like everyone in the world wants it to work, from sponsors. You know, everyone's being patient and patient and patient and patient. From the sponsors down to the fans, down to, you know, employees. You got to figure it out.
So now this is a question, and maybe it's done for a reason, but baseball is the only thing that's going on in the summer. Why is basketball considered a winter sport? I've always played basketball in the summer because you play it outside as a kid.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why originally. Maybe so the markets that, you know, I don't know why it originally was like that. Maybe the markets like in New York. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, probably not to compete against baseball.
That was
originally.
Originally
my thought.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, maybe originally.
And plus, they play indoors for the pros, so it's
right.
You don't have to worry about it with the. So
but
we got a lot of good.
That you should run for GM or even commissioner. So
yeah,
we'll get that.
Sure. Yeah, Wally, I'll send it if you know anyone. I'll.
You'll send your resume in.
If you know anyone.
Hey, don't forget the little guy. You got your start here on this Fan's View. Don't forget the little guy.
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
You know, when we call you up and say, Mr. Pignetti, do you have a few minutes for us tonight? You know, don't say, let me check with my secretary. Don't give us that crap, okay?
and just remember, Steve Harris ran you over with the bus. He backed up.
I remember that part.
Yeah. Remember that Steve Harris guy. He's the troublemaker.
Oh, that's great. But yeah, I mean, on to a more positive note, they did mention that I guess basketball is set to resume towards the end of July.
For practice.
Okay.
That's friggin' 2 months away. That's 2 months away.
No. The latest.
I could be dead.
The latest on the news tonight, right before this, it said that they looked like they were trying to start playing games at the end of July, which seems like they sped it up a little bit because it seems like they were going to practice at the end of July. So, but it still looks like the wide world of sports, and it still looks like 22 teams. But they didn't announce much more than that. I guess they go to a vote tomorrow for everyone involved on that. So that would be good. I mean, it would be good to see some type of action. But yeah, it feels like we got to wait another 2 months for it.
Right.
So
yeah, the end of July feels like an eternity from now.
Mickey Mouse becomes the new commissioner of the NBA. Is that the deal?
Sure.
Disney, ESPN, big dollars, Mickey
When is-
Mouse.
Isn't Disney opening up soon?
Yeah,
June 11th
June 11th.
and
Yep.
the 15th, completely open the 15th.
Awesome.
good.
I think it might be time to do a show from Disney World.
I'll do it. I'll go anywhere right about now. So.
Yeah.
But kind of speaking of good news and kind of things starting to open up, Dad, you get to finally open up the doors on Friday.
Yes,
You're
very nice.
broadcasting
Yay.
live from the store tonight, so that's very
We're back.
exciting.
we're back.
Yep.
We're back. We're back. We get to open up Friday morning. Pretty excited about that. So we'll see how that goes. It's been a while. I don't know if I know how to act. I don't know how to act.
I mean, walk us through the last 2.5 months, because not only it's kind of an interesting situation for you, and I said this to you from the very beginning, was people were without sports, and they still are for 2.5 months. So while people are kind of paying attention to where they're spending money, at the same time, you were the only sports game in town, so to speak. So to kind of get their fix, you were the only game open. I mean, you were doing the curbside thing, the shipping thing, all that kind of stuff. But, the last 2.5 months, your business has obviously looked very different. So how has that been for you?
Well, for the past 3 days, I've been trying to clean up from the hurricane that went through here, because we've done a huge amount of business with these mystery boxes that started out on a very small scale, and then they went to all the way up to the mega box. So we've had 5 different levels of mystery boxes, and I know we've put, the 4 of us have put each and every one of those. We've got our DNA on every one of those boxes. We've put every one of those boxes together.
Right.
And I say this like I take pride in what I do. You take pride. Everyone in this room takes pride in their job and what they do. But when you've got people that are looking at what you're putting in the boxes, you want to make sure you do them right. And I feel like I don't know what's the number. It's 300 and something.
Wow.
357.
Wow.
300 account.
350.
I was keeping track of everyone,
All the paper cuts.
every single one of them. But yeah, I mean, 357 mystery boxes. I mean, that is
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't even know how you put into words kind of what that was. And to be honest, it kind of started out as, let's just try these mystery boxes.
Right.
Let's do them $50. We'll throw in an autographed item and basically just, bobblehead, bunch of novelty stuff. But, good. They're going to get their value. They're going to get more than their value. Right. And those went well. And we sold well over 150 of those right off the bat. And then, of course, because his brain's always going, my dad comes to me. He's like, I got the next thing. We're going to do this mega box. All right. So we do this mega box. Now they're getting a mini helmet, a baseball, and a puck. So now we do those. Then it moves to hockey. Then it moves to football. And now we're finishing out with baseball. So we've certainly run the full length of all potential mystery boxes. But, it worked out. It worked out so well the way we timed everything, because just as the baseball boxes sold out today, we get to open back up Friday. But I mean, Dad, without those mystery boxes, how would these last 2 months have affected you?
Well, financially, it's always a burden, because you still have your rent to pay, you still have your utilities to pay, you still have your insurance,
Right.
So you still have all of those bills to deal with.
Well, and I mean,
Um,
not to mention, this is what you do for a living.
This
So
is true.
you take that income and it has to go home with you to pay for home bills as well. This isn't just like a hobby, fun thing on the side that you do, but you have a full-time job during the day.
It's been interesting, but we've accepted the challenge, and we've kept growing with it, much like we do everything else. We want to run the perfect business. We want every customer to be happy, just like with our signings. You know what I mean? You want every person to have that great experience. Hey, you're going to make mistakes along the way. We're not perfect. You know what I mean? But it's what you do with that, problem, to correct it, make it right for the person. And you just keep everybody happy. It certainly has kept the lights on. I think I've realized in the past 2.5 months that I've got way too much inventory.
Well, I mean,
guess
there's that. I feel like we shipped out 357 boxes and we haven't made a dent anywhere.
That's actually not a bad thing.
Well, I mean, it's just so much.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you don't have any inventory, you're out of business.
Well, sure.
I mean,
It
that's
just feels
it's
like
key.
we should have made a dent somewhere.
So with that, we have a couple of questions. Are you going to keep the mystery boxes going?
No,
That's a good.
I'm done
I-
packing
put
mystery boxes.
It's called negotiations. So
All right, fine.
Special occasions.
We'll
like
negotiate. What do you got?
we're going to negotiate a new contract.
All right.
Lauren,
Six
Anthony,
straight
you may not be
Saturdays.
back.
I've been
Yeah.
there packing mystery boxes.
I know you. I know. And like I said to you from the very beginning, I can't do this on my own. It would be literally impossible. And without, like I said, it's been the four of us, 5 straight Saturdays. Plus I, put boxes together during the week. It's been a phenomenal experience for us to be able to do it. And, I'm looking forward to the store reopening and seeing people again, talking to people. I love talking sports. It's like the Monday morning water cooler. You know what I mean? Like, what just happened? What do we got to do? And on top of it, I don't have John here every day breaking my stones about how bad Dougie P is and how bad Gabe Kapler is and how bad the Phillies are.
So you're saying there's a plus side?
The quiet time has really been good.
Has it though? Because I feel like that's what's been driving you nuts.
No, I'm kidding. I really am. I really am.
I know
I
know he loves it. He just
I
he
get a
hasn't
trickle
given
of
it a shot.
Steve Harris running through here every once in a while. You know what I mean? His sorry butt won't come anywhere near it. I guess he thinks I got the virus. I don't know. I think I've seen him once in 3 months. So, but no, I love. Hey, I can break them with the best of them. I enjoy it. If you can't take it, you're dishing it out. You're in trouble. You know what I mean? You got to have fun with it. You got to enjoy life. You know what I mean? But
So what's the negotiation on these boxes? Because I got to be prepared.
I thought we figured it out. I thought we were going to do like special occasions to not,
Oh, here comes the GM. Here comes the GM.
special occasions.
Well, you guys might be out.
And we got one coming up June 14th. How can we let the fathers down?
That's not June 14th. That's June 21st. So we're already off to a bad start.
Oh, all right. Is Father's Day the 20th? All right, I got an extra week.
So he wants to get them out by the 14th, so they get there by the 21st.
That's right.
No, listen, let me just explain something to you, Mario. I don't know how the post office system works because I've been hearing about delays, packages taking a while. I'm telling you, we shipped out boxes on Saturday. People had them Monday.
Monday.
Monday they had those boxes.
Wait,
That's
I
because you got
know
Ronnie.
people
Ronnie's
who
taking
got
care of
them on. we had people who got them on Sunday.
Right.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
they
the
do
post
deliver.
office delivered on
They-
I had
they-
no idea.
Well,
Yeah,
didn't
they do special.
Sean
Oh,
get his on Memorial Day?
Tom
think
King
Sean-
got his on Sunday.
Yeah.
Sean may have gotten his as well. I know there were a couple people.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
But you know what?
Okay.
It's been a lot of fun. And you know what? You know, John's been a big part of helping us because, you know,
We
I
don't
think he
have any
cleaned out of
packing
his
supplies.
yeah, he cleaned out his garage because we got all his packing material which we could use. You know what I mean? It's been phenomenal. Steve Harris kept telling me he's coming over to help. He hasn't shown up yet.
I've been there 6 Saturdays straight. I haven't seen him once.
Haven't seen him once. You offer up beer, tell him there's a cooler of beer, he'll be here.
Well, he should know you by now that there'd be beer there, so he should have been there.
He's
God.
so scared. He told me the other day he lost 30 pounds because he's so scared. What are you scared of? I don't know. What are you scared of?
So he doesn't know about the Clarkie signing?
They haven't said anything to anybody. You just broke that news.
Yeah, really.
You just
Well, somebody did ask when our next signing would be, and I mean, I think honestly that's going to be a player to player. I think it's going to be a case by case situation. I think some players will be okay and eager to come out for a signing, and others, you know, especially probably the older ones, are going to be a little bit reserved for a while to probably come out.
Well, it'll be actually that's a whole nother question, because you would think that the older players would be eager to do it because they, you know.
Well, they need the money.
Yeah, but they're also
Health wise.
they tend to be the ones that like to interact with the fans and all that. So
But they're also the most vulnerable.
right, so that's why it's going to be eager to see what happens. You know, the current guys or the young guys, it'll be interesting to see what they do now
Right.
too.
Right.
well. So since John brought it up, our good friend Bill Mattis is doing a private signing with number 16 on Tuesday. So
Why would we announce that?
I was kind of keeping it kind of close to the vest because I didn't want Steve Harris to find out
Oh, well, too late for that.
because he's got to get his Robert Earl pucks so he can
But he
sell 'em-
signs those. He has no problem with that.
so he can sell them on eBay, and he's the only one. Because
Oh.
Bob won't sign them for anyone else but
Steve.
Steve.
All right, so that storm that hit you guys earlier is now apparently right over my house.
Well, to be honest, it really wasn't anything like earlier today. It was just a lot of rain.
Yeah, that was like 2:00 this afternoon.
It's
It
moving.
took that
A ton
long.
of rain.
It
No.
took that long to get to Springfield.
No, so they got it first this morning, and then we got it at the same time. They had it a little while ago.
Who's
about a
they?
half?
Who's
Lauren
that?
and Anthony. Lauren and Anthony. They had
Oh.
about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Now I'm just starting to get it now. I can hear it.
So that's phase 2.
phase 2. Yes.
But it just poured like crazy in the second round. The first round this morning was scary. It got pretty dark and
It
it was
Oh,
there was apparently somewhere they reported an 83-mile-an-hour gust of wind in Reading somewhere, but that wasn't here.
well,
that's hurricane-ish, isn't it?
yeah. My lights flickered a little bit, just a couple seconds ago. So
So, someone is asking. Oh, it's Sean. I'm sorry. Does Clark ever do public signings? And in my history, there's only been one that I'm aware of.
Well, he does them, but he has to do them when it's the LCB line together. He'll
Right.
do them, as a group. But it's just more economical to do a private signing with Mr. Clark.
Right.
Because he'll sign for us. Like I've got a cool couple project pieces, that Bill's going to take over on Tuesday.
Is he
and,
just doing it with Bill then, or are
yes.
you part of it?
No.
Just Bill.
Bill, I guess, Bob's coming into town and Bill has some stuff to get done. And I guess he doesn't want a large crowd there, I guess.
Have you reached out to anyone just yet, or you want to give it some time? I mean, what are your thoughts about something at the store?
Well, I was actually waiting to open. Okay. And I know Andre Lacroix wants to come to Philadelphia to do a book signing.
That would be cool.
I know we reached out to Corey Clement now that he's re-signed back with the Eagles. I know we've reached out to Jason Kelsey a number of times. So we've reached out to people. I'm going to be curious, but I'm already seeing nothing but private signings throughout the industry. That's all I've seen so far. So we'll see. Jack Broder wants a prop, Brian Prop signing. So maybe we'll
go to
just
his
do
house, Jack.
Yeah, just
Jack, you got the proper collection and you got all the connections. So
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm sure we'll get back into it. I don't know how quickly things. I just can't put a big screen, in front of the table to block out, to block, the people. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't feel right. That's okay at the Acme and the supermarket. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Would that feel? Does that make any sense, or am I just foolish?
Feels like the players are in a zoo.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a tornado warning. Also, I hope we're all safe. So,
Be all right.
but
It
no,
must have picked up some steam because it wasn't like that here.
I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for a while now.
All right, meteorologist John, thank you so much. Tonight.
hey, so let's real quick. Let's get back to 15. Let's recap those 4 names for number
Yes.
15.
Okay.
First of all, in 7:30, the poll's going to go up, and right after the show, we'll have the poll going up and get your votes in that way. It seems to be working pretty well with everybody. But for 15, we have Dick Allen for the Phillies. For the Eagles, we have Steve Van Bjorn. For the Flyers, we have Terry Crisp. And for the 76ers, we have Hal Greer. Two Hall of Famers in that group. Two guys that have their retired numbers. Wall of Famer and Dick Allen. Hopefully, knock on wood, he'll be a Hall of Famer this time next year. And then we have a 2-time Stanley Cup champion in Terry Crisp. So, this one's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see where the votes are going to go with this one. Like Anthony was saying earlier, there's no guy that's head and shoulders above anybody else in this group here.
It's not going to be a runaway like the last couple have been.
No, I don't think so. Or the next one.
Speaking of that, that's number 16, right?
Number 16.
Who do we got?
Well,
Or you don't want to bring it up, or
Oh, we have a few names. We still got to narrow it down. Obviously, you got the jersey in the background there for Carl. Bob Clark's going to be one of the guys. Eagles will probably have Norm Snead. There
There's
you
our
go.
one for the show.
There you go. And probably
It took
for the
53 minutes, but we got it.
I don't know where you come up with these guys' names. I think you might
Yep.
make them up
And
because I never heard of these people.
I do.
You do a good job because they
I
sound
do.
legit.
The stick,
Yeah,
they do.
sound legit.
You got to play. It's a good thing Jen's a teacher. I got a lot of good names that I can pull out of the hat to make them sound legitimate.
Yep.
And the 76ers, we had a little bit of a throwing darts out there for 16. We got we went with a person that Lauren heard of, Marquise
Yes.
Spates, Maurice Spates.
Listen, the other names were not much better. I have
and plus he kind of wore it the most too. So everybody else was.
Let me tell you something. If Hal Greer doesn't win, Maurice who?
Speaks.
He does not win. I'll tell you that.
All right.
Well, I mean, you're going up against Bobby Clark, so that's going to be a tough one. The Phillies one, we're going to probably end up having to throw out a poll out there for the viewers to give us a little bit of help. We got Cookie Rojas in the mix. We got Don Money's in the mix.
Help me out. Help me out, Mr. Baseball. I don't remember Cookie Rojas at number 16.
Well, he was on the board, so he must be like an early number that he was that he was in that mix. One of the early years.
Whether he wears 16 or not, no one's voting for him over Bobby Clark.
Right.
If he's the person, he would get a couple votes for sure.
Sure, a couple.
Oh, yeah, they'll get guys. J.C. Romero is going to be in the mix. Luis Aguayo.
I remember him.
Yeah.
Met him.
I didn't say who. I said oof.
I know.
You got Tony Longmire, Travis Lee.
Who?
Let's get back,
Either one of those.
We got the owl back. We got the owl. I told you the owl was coming out.
let's get back to Robert Earl Clark in the runaway.
And then Cesar Hernandez.
Yeah,
That'll probably be the more popular guy.
very
All right.
cool.
So we're gonna put a poll up probably next Tuesday for that, John? Ahead of
I guess
Wednesday's
yeah
show?
to get it give him the day for the Tuesday show, for the Wednesday show next week. So so we'll be looking for that for the Phillies one that gives a little bit of help on that. But like I said, we got this tough battle here for number 15. So as a lot of fan favorites in number 15.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Mhm.
I mean,
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
so
we are
got
right
every
at
sport covered.
We are right at the mark for our takeaways for the evening. So I just wanted to reiterate to everybody that we are no longer doing our Monday shows. So we are just back to Wednesdays. So every Wednesday at 6:30, the Monday shows were good while they had their run. But obviously we kind of did those just because we were all kind of looking for something to take us away from everything going on in the outside world. So things are starting to open back up, get back to normal. So we won't be doing our Monday shows anymore, but we will continue to have our Wednesday shows at 6:30. And as soon as we can start to do remote shows, we will certainly look to do those as soon as possible. But in the meantime, we'll be here at 6:30. So, John, with your takeaway?
Well, with all the businesses opening up on Friday, make sure you get out there and help support all your local businesses and get out there and we'll say hello again and get out there and help out because times were tough. So get out there and support them so that they can all keep surviving and getting better. So.
Mario?
I'm gonna piggyback off John. I can't wait for things to start getting back to normal. Gonna try to go to church on Sunday for the first time in God knows how long. So good luck, Carl, and hope you do well. Larry wanted to know if you were going to give your first customer anything for being the first customer on Friday. So you can
A handshake.
You're not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that anymore.
That's
So-
all.
I thought everything was good. I thought
No,
No,
we're not.
that's
We're not
not
green yet. We're not green yet. We're
Oh,
yellow.
wait, you do a handshake and then.
Oh, there you go. Wash your hands.
That's
all right.
okay.
And sanitize after.
So, other than
they're
that,
still getting a handshake.
there you go. Yeah, that's about it. Just I'm looking forward to getting things somewhat back to normal anyway.
Dad?
Well, if you go to church on Sunday, say a prayer for all of us.
Always do.
There you go. My takeaway is the fact that all of us, our families, our friends, we've all stayed healthy through all of this, and we've been able to, get through this the best way possible. It's been a lot of trying times for people, but I think people can now realize that if you listen and you're cautious and you do things the right way, that you can survive some tough times. I hope this thing kind of. I know I'm asking for a lot, but I kind of hope it just goes away and stays away, because I've had enough of it. I'm a big advocate of small business because I am one. So I'm hoping that all my brothers and sisters that own small businesses can survive and get back open and make some money, get caught up on their bills, and we can all move forward and drink beers, together again. So that's my takeaway.
Tony?
So on Friday, much like your store's opening, Delaware County, Berks County here opens for outside dining on Friday. So it'll be great to go to some of those restaurants that we've been able to order out from, but actually being able to sort of sit on a patio and those type of things. I'm sure Friday will be a little bit crazy to get reservations, but obviously don't forget about the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays of the world when places are still open. The other thing too to mention, we haven't announced it just yet, but I think the Reading Fighting Phils themselves are going to do that tomorrow. But we do plan to have some things at the stadium over the next couple weeks. Musicians on the stage and something special planned for Father's Day. So I think the first set of those press releases come out tomorrow. Then God willing, obviously everything stays safe and healthy that we can continue to do them. So, just go out and support all those small businesses, and the Reading Fighting Phils are actually a small business as well.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely. I thought we were getting a little breaking news there for a second.
There's not too much, we're going to open up the stadium a little bit for some. So I know in Delaware County, they have like a Facebook page for musicians that play every half hour, every hour, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a page called the Berks County Quarantine page, which are for musicians that you can go on every night from, let's say, 5 o'clock to midnight. And every half hour, there's a different musician. You could donate money to them through their PayPal, whatever it might mean, because obviously restaurants are open for them to perform. So I think the announcement tomorrow will be for a date in the next couple of weeks. The money for the first one, there'll be an entrance fee, and the money will go directly to musicians. And the next one might go to the Humane Society, and the next one might go to a different organization. And obviously it's not, $1 million, but it makes us at least
every little bit helps.
Yeah. Get back to the stadium and feel like things are more normal. So those announcements should be coming out from the team sometime tomorrow.
Good stuff.
And then for me, the one thing that we wanted to chat about was last Monday, we spoke about the virtual walk that my organization, which is Humane Pennsylvania, was hosting. And so we have decided as a group to go with a Carl's Cards Canines team. So I will put that out a little bit later for folks to sign up and join. And so just stay tuned for that. For right now, we are working through that. And then obviously anybody can sign up and support that and virtually walk. So Carl's Cards Canine. So just keep an eye out for that. Anybody who wants to join and be a part of that would be great.
Very cool. Very cool.
And cool. I am dealing with this fella that is spamming us right now. So I am taking care of that on the back end. I tried to block up, but it doesn't seem to be working right now. So I see that, and I apologize to everyone. I think that means like we're big time now because we're being spammed. So I feel like we only spam like big shows.
There you go.
Obviously means we
There you go. There you go. We got a new GM.
Yeah.
We're getting hacked. This is beautiful.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a great night. We're 4 minutes past our allotment, so might be a good time to cut us loose.
Yep.
Sounds good. Okay, everybody.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
See you Wednesday.
Appreciate it. Be safe. Be safe, everyone.